Cool. How's it going? Can you hear me? Wait for a few people to come on. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Hope everybody's doing well. Make sure the audio's up. Oh yeah, perfect. Wow, it is crazy. We're getting rain right now, and it is getting cold. Awesome. You guys can hear me good? You can hear me all right? So, what a week, huh? What a week. You guys see the DT 400 Roberts bike? That thing is sweet. Can't wait to really start getting cracking on that thing. Get that on the lift. Michael, how you doing? You can hear me all right? It's been just an amazing bike, and the DT 400 is literally a powerhouse. That thing is one of the original classic bikes, and it is so nice. Oh, cool. Is it pronounced Alima? I get confused with all that. Not really good with pronouncing names. Alima. So it's been working on the bike. He sent me so many parts. How you doing, Corey? Sent me so many parts and pieces for this bike. The tank is immaculate. It's a reprint, like a knockoff on the tank. It's a reproduction tank, but it's beautiful. And if you guys watched the video, I did a parts video on that bike, all the parts that came in and for it. So we're really gonna literally just go through the bike like we do on every other bike, top to bottom. But we're gonna be talking about the different systems. And I really perfect, awesome. I literally want you guys to see how I pick apart bikes. Good evening. How you doing, Larry? It's one of those bikes I wanted to show you guys how, and I do this all the time because I get a lot of people sending me messages. Kevin, why are you always knocking bikes and degrading bikes? Because that's what we got to do. In order to get to a spot where you know what is wrong with the bike, you first have to knock the bike down. Okay? When you knock the bike down, then you can build it up. Hold on 1 second. What's this? Yeah. Yeah, we're not doing that on here. Okay. All right. So with that. All right. So, yeah, I knocked the bike down to build the bike up. It is something that mechanics do, and it gives you a mental note of what the bike needs in the direction you want to take the bike in. Now, the nice thing about Robert's bike is Robert already picked the color. He already picked out how he wants the bike. Robert, in his mind, already seen the bike done. And that's where I want you guys to see. I want you guys to be able to look at a bike and go, I see it. It's done. Now I got to get it to that point. That's what I'm teaching you guys on the channel. We have a lot of stuff to cover on this bike. We're going to go through the carburetor. We're going to pop the head off. The motor does run. They pre-mix the bike, which is okay in this case because this bike is a, what do you call it there? Reed valve motor, so you can pre-mix those all day long. So there's no damage as far as I know with that, as long as they mixed it properly. We don't know what they put in there for a mix. If they put in their motocross mix, then we could have a problem. but I'm really not too worried about it. Those DT400s can handle a beating. That's what they were designed for. They're a very robust bike. So I'm not really concerned about that condition with, of any wear or anything like that. But we're going to pop the top. And when we take the exhaust off, we're going to look in there and check the piston skirt. And then we're going to go from there. We're just going to go through system by system like we do on all the bikes. But we're going to be building this bike back to its basically original condition, or as close to it as we can get. The bike is, what do you call it there? Super cool. I mean, it's one of those bikes that will stand the wheel right up. And it is an on-off-road bike, just like the GT80. And once I get the bike all done, we're going to compare it to the GT80 because I have the 77 one there I got from Harvey Spooner. And you'll see how similar they are. They kept that style, so it's a beautiful, beautiful bike. I got the DT, what's it there? The DS 100 this week. That bike was on Marketplace for $500. I did not pay $500 for it. In fact, I didn't pay anything for it. So a while back, I got a Suzuki Murata 800, VZ 800. Nice bike. It needed a fuel tank, and needed a battery and a whole fuel system. So it was a bike that I wasn't going to do anything with. I just wanted to kind of get rid of it. In fact, I was toying about giving it to my scrap lady because literally I got too many things going on and I'm not going to get to it. So I wanted to move it. So what I did was, and the bike ran. I mean, I throw a battery on it, a little fuel system, bike would fire up. Not a big deal. So what I did was I texted the guy. I said, hey, would you be interested in a trade? A running bike for your non-running bike? And, well, how can you pass that up, right? So, because I just needed the front end off that DS 100 and a few other parts. So what I did, I made the swap. We switched them out, and then I got the DS 100. And now I have pretty much all my parts for my DS 100 to get mine up and going. And as you guys remember, saw the videos, I basically got all the parts and pieces to it, the little stuff that, we got from the back to the front pretty much done. There's a few things we have to do to it, but nothing too crazy. And I was missing some parts. I was missing like the little rubber piece that goes over the frame for the fuel tank. My fuel tank is bad. The fuel tank on the other one was bad too, so I'm still needing a tank. I'm going to try to repair the one I have. I'm going to do it in an unorthodox way, so I'm not going to be showing that on video how I did it. If it works out, then I'll explain it and go there. I'm trying a different route, so it's kind of an experimental thing. I don't want to show it on camera because if it doesn't work out and someone tries doing exactly what I did and it doesn't work out for them either, then we're in a spot where, hey, you made me mess up my bike. Okay, all right. My bad, fair enough. So that's where we're at with that. What else we got going on? So tomorrow night, we're going to be working on Dave's lower half of his motor, and I'd like to get that motor done by the weekend. So by not this weekend, next weekend, because literally that's all that bike needs is to have the engine put back together, new seals, bearings, gaskets, and what have you, and then we can send that out the door. Concentrate on Dave's, get his done. Then we got Brian's bike, and we got to finish up on Alvin's bike, and we have Matt's bike. So that's the other thing we're going to be doing. Now I had you guys watch the Matt's bike video, and pick out as much as you can. I wanted to see what you guys saw. I saw a lot of comments on that. So we're going to be going over that bike and see how well you did on what you've noticed. That's why I did that video the way I did it. I want to see where you guys are at, what you guys noticed. When you guys are doing the channel with me, you guys can literally see. I want to see how you're learning and how you're getting along with all the videos. I know a lot of you guys just watch the videos just to watch them, and I know a lot of you guys watch them to to learn. So I want to see where you guys are at. Once again, can you guys hear me all right? It looks like my thing is going kind of funny up here. Can you get a thumbs up or a yes, I can hear you? Just want to make sure you guys are hearing me all right. I can't really tell. Okay, awesome, Corey. Thank you. Thank you. I just want to make sure that everything's working correctly because my little thing up top there is going kind of nutty. So awesome. Thank you. We have got so we're going to be putting the TS 125 motor together this week and getting that on the frame. I'd like to do that. So cool, awesome. Thank you. Always want to make sure that when I'm teaching you guys can hear, because there's some specific stuff on a TS motor that does not apply to the KE motor, for instance, like heating up where the bearing goes. Oh, look at here. I removed the main wiring harness so I could paint the frame. I took a lot of pictures before disconnected. Any advice on reconnecting wire? Yes. When you reconnect your wires, take a piece of emery cloth or like light sandpaper on the bullet connectors, wipe the bullet connectors on, and use dielectric grease. Dielectric grease, like go to Walmart. Hold on, what's going on? My computer's going crazy here. Okay, here we go. Go to Walmart or a gun shop and see if you can get a 22 gun cleaning kit with a little wire brush. That little tip will clean the female ones perfectly. You can also use a Q-tip with alcohol, but you'll be going through a lot of Q-tips because you'll be using one per connector. But you can do it that way. It's tedious, but you can do it. The reason why you want to clean up all your connectors is so you have a nice connection. Put the dielectric grease in there and push them in until you hear them snap in. If you don't hear it, you'll feel it. You'll feel it go doop, and then you're good. And then that's a good connection. And then move on to the next one. And that's pretty much it. And also make sure that when you put the wiring where it's got to go, make sure that it's not chafing on anything. It's not rubbing the tank. It's not squished. Those type of things. Oh, I bet you can. I just take your time. And once again, if you have any questions, you can send me a picture and I can help you out with that. So, who did you say made the points for my 1978 650? Kawasaki makes the points. I don't know who. I don't know what you mean. The 1970. You can get those. The 1978 650. I would probably just go and get a conversion kit for that. I wouldn't even put points into it. A 650 motorcycle today, I'd get rid of the points altogether and just go buy. Boyer makes a. I believe it's Boyer. Makes a CDI kit. They make a whole bunch of them. You do not need a top end CDI kit for that bike. You might even get one from, like, say, in 1980, 81. Check and see if they make, if you could find a CDI kit with a pulsar. That's the way to go on that bike. But if you do need points, check eBay, Partzilla. Partzilla, you can look up the part number, and typically you can just put that part number in on eBay, and it will pop up. So try that first, partzilla.com, and you'll be able to look up your application. You'll see motorcycle, Kawasaki 650 a year, and then you go through and you'll see on there, it'll have like electrical, magneto and that sort of thing. Then you click on that one, and then it'll bring up a picture of the whole magneto plate, and you'll see your points. And when you do that, also replace your condenser. Never replace just the points if it's the first time doing it. Always replace the points and condenser in a pair and new plugs. That's the best way to go with that. So many people just replace the points. And Kevin, it still runs like crap. Did you replace your condenser? Yeah, I replaced. Yeah, sure, yeah. And then the bike's still not running. I don't know what's going on with my bike because you didn't change the condenser. Oh, well, I mean, it's soldered in. I don't have a soldering iron. Well, you'll have to get one. And I think on the 650 it's bolted in. I think it's got I think the wire is built onto the the condenser. And then you can just undo it, and then the whole thing comes out, which is the way they all should be. I don't know why Kawasaki did that. I really don't know why they did that. So I have some other information for you guys. I brought in some stuff from outside today. I wanted to show you guys. Hold on a second. I was disappointed that I had to pay. Yeah, unfortunately, that Corey, that's how it is. They get you every which way till Sunday, and it's literally the two governments. It just crazy. Oh, you're very welcome on that. Yep. Yeah, it's so common. It's so common that people don't change that condenser. I get people. Well, what else could it be? 30 years experience I've been doing this. That's what your problem is. Points and condenser. I can't tell you how many people say, Kevin, do you have a magneto kicking around? My magneto's bad. What? They don't go. Oh, this one's bad. I don't have a way of testing it, but it's bad because I got no spark. You replace the points and condenser. I replace the points. Replace the condenser. Nope, that's not it. How do you know it's not it? You didn't replace it. What do I know? I'm just a mechanic, right? But and then they watch my video and they see how I do it, and they get a little bit more better at it, and then, oh, bike's running great, thank you. That's what I've been doing. They built these bikes simple. They're very, very simple. Who makes them complicated? We do. Yep, we complicate the heck out of them. I don't want to replace my points, so it's not the points. Or I don't want to replace the condenser, so it's not the condenser. I'm going to go and buy an ignition coil, and hopefully that fixes it. Kevin, the ignition coil I bought from eBay doesn't work. It's shorted out, or it's defective. Did you replace your points and condensers? Yeah, sure. That's what I get. So, definitely take your time. Replace your points, replace your condenser, gap them, do them correctly. I got videos on it. And the same way I do it on the KE100s or the KMs or the KDs, it's the same way you're going to do them on your 650. That's how you gap them, right through the window, unless yours has a cam, and some of them have an external flywheel. You can do them that way too if yours applies to that. As always, I always recommend getting your manual. Always buy the manual. I collect manuals. I buy them every time I see them. If I see a motorcycle manual, even if I don't have the bike, I want it. If I go to a yard sale and I see a manual there for $15, you take $5 for that? Yeah, I'll take $5 for it. There you go. Then you get a manual. All right, so I got some stuff to show you guys. I get asked a lot of spark plug questions. A lot. This is going to be good. So I brought in a basket full of sparky plugs. Spark 'em plug'ems. So I'm going to start off with a couple of plugs. Not that one. Where are you? After. Nope. Of course, it'll probably be the last plug I pick up. Yep, it is. Okay. All right. So I know you probably won't be able to see this in perfect detail, but let me show you guys this. In this hand right here is a B8 ES. This plug right here is for the KE100, and they no longer make this plug. This plug is obsolete. They got rid of it. They have replaced the spark plug with a BP ES. So everything is the same, except there's an added letter, the letter P. Okay? And if you hold them up, they look pretty much exactly the same, with the exception of the insulation is coming through a little bit more. Okay? It actually is a better plug. Okay? So what you're concerned about when you're looking at plugs and they tell you, oh, a cross reference is over, You're looking at the distance between the bottom of the washer to the edge right here of the plug, not the electrode, but right here at the edge, okay? You want to make sure that that right there is the same. This plug will work just fine. The number 8 represents the heat range. Heat range is the temperature at which the spark plug cleans itself. So whenever you pull a plug and it looks like brand new on the inside, that's because the heat range is correct, okay? The E and the S at the bottom are basically the reference for your plugs, for the length of your plug here, your threads, okay? So point in case, I'm going to use this plug and this plug. So I have in my hand a KD80, a KM100, an MC1, or a KE100 with a high compression head. That spark plug would be called a B7HS. And you can see the comparison between the two right there. See how short this excuse me, how short the threads are right there, and how long these ones are. God, I got another drink. Dried right out. All right, so the last two letters, the ES and the HS, okay, are the threads. And you can see how one is longer than the other. And if you compare them with one the same, they'd fit all the way in, okay? Now, the plug, the B7HS, has been replaced for one down in either direction. You can go one up or one down in either directions, okay? So, let's see here. I want to show you another plug. Here we go. Back to this one. Okay, all right. So now I have in my hand two BP7 ESs, 8 ESs, okay? These are for the KE100s, all right? You can see how this one has the letter R in it. So it's a BR8ES. And if you flip it around where it says NGK, it has the letter R. That is a resistor plug, okay? This is what you would use if your bike was, let's say, a 1996 to 2001. It requires a resistor plug. Because CDI ignitions would almost look like a continuous spark. So if you look at, I did a video on this actually. If you look at my my KV75 CDI, okay, I had a non-resistor plug in it. It literally looked like a continuous spark the whole time. It looked like it was just lightning, just steady stream of lightning the whole time. The resistor actually allows it to pulse at the time it needs to. It's basically like it timed it, okay? So you want to make sure that if you have a CDI ignition, you're using the blue plug. Now, my bike has CDI ignition, and I'm not using this blue plug because I don't like this blue plug. I'm using this plug, the regular one. So you're probably saying to yourself, Kevin, you just contradicted yourself. This is where I changed something on my bike. So instead of having the resistor in the spark plug, which I don't like, in order to run this plug, I had to get a resistor cap that pops onto the plug, okay? So there are a couple of different types. One has the threaded right there, and then the other one has the screw-on type, okay? So basically, I had to get the opposite of, I believe that the one with the, let me see if I can remember this correctly. The one that has the cap on it, when you screw it on there, is the non-resistor, and then the one that has the threads is resistor. So it'll be the opposite. You have to take the cap off, this little screw thing on the end off to run this plug with that other cap. Okay. So that right there is something you want to make sure you do, because these plugs right here have a resistor. So right now, voltage comes in through the top, comes at the bottom, and shocks the base. But there is a resistor in the middle here, okay, that goes to ground. When this plug shorts out, it will not spark. It literally will come down and go right to ground, and it will never spark at the bottom. This can give you a false, I think my ignition coil is bad. I think my engine's breaking up, or something's going on with my bike, or it can kick back on when it cools down. So if the resistor doesn't get spark in a while, it can cool down and it will spark again. What this will do is it'll make the engine and it'll make all kinds of like stupid sounds, and you'll think your engine's got some major problem with it, when in fact it's your spark plug. So that's why I do not use the resistor plug. I use the regular plug with the resistor cap. Just one of the things that I do on my bikes, and I've been doing it for a while, and it's trouble-free. So that right there helps out a lot. I got a couple quick questions. Kevin, did you get a pitch of the go-kart? No. How did you send the go-kart to me? Did you email it, or did you text it to me? I got so many text messages I couldn't even reply to all of them, and I'm trying to find them, and it's been crazy. Can you provide a picture of the GT4 high compression? The high compression spark plug. Yes, 1 second. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay. So it was the B7HS. That was the spark plug. They no longer make it. The new one. So hold on 1 second. Okay, well, I'll show you on this. This one right here is a BP4HS, but instead of a 4, it'll be a 7. Okay, so you want the number 7. So it'll say BP7HS. Okay, and I want to talk to you guys about high compression heads. Thank you for bringing that up, because I brought a couple of cylinder heads in the house to show you. I want to show you guys what the difference is on the cylinder heads and why they have 2 different spark plugs. Both of these cylinder heads are for a KE100. Okay, you can see how they look very, very close, very, very similar. And when you flip them up, they have the cooling holes at the bottom so that it can cool the back of the head. And here's the other style right here. Yeah. Okay. So the low compression head has a cup in it. See the cup? So here's your swish right here, your swish area, and then the combustion chamber is right here. Okay. So this one right here is a regular head. Give me a second. And this regular head takes a BP8ES. Okay, you can see how the plug comes all the way through, like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the wrong plug in it, and I want to show you guys something. So I'm going to put a high compression. I'm going to put a regular. I'm going to put a high compression cylinder head spark plug into a low compression, a regular head that you would typically find. Okay, let me show you this. Now I screwed it all the way in, so now you can see how the spark plug. See how right there it's not fitting in all the way. Now what happens is carbon is going to build up around that spark plug and fill in that hole. This engine's going to run like absolute crap. Okay? So that is why you need to run the proper plug. But now we're going to do the opposite thing. Okay? I'm going to show you guys a high compression cylinder head with the wrong spark plug in it. So here you have a high compression head. Okay? I'm turning that angle so you guys can see how there's not much of a compression area? Because this whole area right here is a tighter area than that cup. Okay, so instead of all the compression going up in this little area right here, which basically lowers the compression ratio, this is going to higher the compression ratio, and you can see comparison. How there is less room on this head and more room on this one. Okay. This right here is going to allow that when that piston comes up to compress, it's going to be a lot tighter of an area, which basically compresses the charge. Then the spark plug ignites and gives you, a massive power stroke. Where the other one has a bigger compression, so it comes up and there's a lot more room, and it's not as tightly packed. It's more loose. Okay, you want it tight. So this head right here takes the B7, what is it there? B7HS. Okay, let me make sure I'm not getting confused here. Let me show you how that fits. It's all the way in tight, and you can see how there's no room around the spark plug. The threads are all the way to the edge. That is the correct fit. Now I'm going to show you guys what happens when I put the wrong plug. What's up, buddy?
I just want to say hello.
Go ahead, say hello.
Hello.
All right, now I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you guys the wrong plug. This is from a regular KE100, the B8 ES. Okay, actually, I can't even thread it in. Okay, so it won't thread all the way through, and the threads are actually sticking up in the back. You can't really see it too well. See how it's not seated all the way in the bottom? Right up in, right there? The thread's sticking through. So if I was able to tighten this down with a ratchet, the bottom part of the plug would actually come through and could hit the piston. Okay? That would be really, really bad. You can put a hole in a piston. You could do some serious damage. Okay? So always make sure you know what cylinder head you have. And there are only 4 bolts, and the head gasket's reusable if you're not sure. So you can also identify the cylinder head by the fins. Okay? This right here is what a high compression cylinder head looks like. And it almost looks like H patterns. See the H's? Okay, it makes like a letter H. Okay, like a high compression. And then this one right here has got what I call octagons. So you can see the octagons around the bolt holes. This is a low compression head. So I'm going to hold them up right next to each other so you guys can see this. And you guys can see the differences. The high compression doesn't have any barrier around the bolts, the nuts. This one has little holeways, if you will. Okay, and it also has more coolant fins on the back side here, but the ones on the outside don't do nothing because there's only 4 fins on the back of the motor that require the coolant fins. So you can see how there's more on the other one, but not on the other, like this. See, but both work exactly the same. So pretty neat. So I wanted to show you guys that so you guys can help identify which ones you guys have. I'm going to bring that up in another video when I start doing more KE stuff. We got some of that coming up too. But I wanted to talk to you guys about that tonight. All right, let me text you. What do you think? What kind of it is? Let me take a quick peek at that. All right, let me just. Hold on 1 second, guys. Image. That's quite a little cart. To be honest with you, I've never seen that cart before. It's probably a Kimco, right, or something like that, or a Toto. It's definitely a Chinese cart. It's pretty neat. It's a small little one. Pretty cool though. It's awesome. Yeah, I would. I'd probably go with a little bigger motor on that, and that's a two-stroke. That go kart you got there. Or is that four-stroke or two-stroke? Hold on, let's just take a quick peek at it again. Hold on a second. That's a four-stroke. It's got a little Honda motor on, so it's a little four-stroke. Yeah, that right there looks like a Kimco. That's what it looks like to me. Hey Kevin, where can I buy the oil pump cable mount adjuster? Oh, that little clip. I have no idea. I haven't had to find one. I keep those because I build those with motors and stuff like that. You don't really need them. So what you can do, I'll tell you what you can do if you don't have it. So where the cable pops in, okay, you got the grommet where the cable goes through it. On the on the back side of that, put a zip tie around it, pull it tight so it can't pull back through the grommet, and that's it. That's all you have to do. So you got your adjuster that you can screw and bring the cable in and out. Then you got a small length of cable. Then you get your rubber grommet on the side where the adjuster cable is. So you get your adjuster here, then you grommet here. You could just put a zip tie right there and hold it. The adjuster is the same. You could probably get that off a pedal bike. That's just a regular cable adjuster. That's nothing fancy. That's not even a Kawasaki uses it. Pedal bikes use it. Schwinn uses it. Mongoose. You can get it from any pedal bike. A Huffy. That's just a regular standard adjuster, which is nice about that. They kept that really, really basic. Nothing fancy on that. You can probably get that right off a pedal bike. I don't even have an extra one of those. What I'll do is I'll text you later on and see if I have. Actually, I know I have one. I have one. What do you call it there? Text me later on after the show and I'll see what I got. I know I don't have that clip, but I do have the adjuster. Yeah, they're all metric threads now. So yeah, they're all the bikes. They all use that same thing. So, but I do believe I actually have one for that. So, be pretty cool. What else we got? So we covered the heads and all that. Oh yeah, we're going to be going through Robert's carburetor. This is not a typical carburetor that you would see on the KE100s, but the principles are all the same. And it's a Mikuni, but it's bigger. I'm going to do some comparisons so you guys can see where Mikuni changed some things to get more power out of the bikes, which is all kinds of. There's some certain stuff that you can apply to your bike as well. But when I'm talking about like the needles, the shapes of the needles, you can literally change the needle on your bike and get more power out of it. I'm talking about the slide needle. I'm talking about changing just the needle with the same adjustment and get more power out of the bike. Seriously, it's crazy how that works. So I have a couple of really narrow needles that go, that go on the slide to go up and down the carburetor. That's instead of being such a dramatic wedge, it's more of a narrow one, so it allows more fuel in quicker. You can change so much on these carburetors and get so much more out of them. We're going to be doing a video. I'm going to put a dummy motor I have on the stand, and we're going to see how high we can get this thing to RPM. We're going to hook our RPM gauge up to it. We're going to be doing it over the summer, and we're going to see how much power we can get out of this bike motor. KE100 motor with an exhaust system, fully tuned, and then we're going to take it and we're going to just play with it until it comes apart if it has to. All right, I'm going to show you guys where you can make some crazy power on a stock bike with doing very little stuff to it, and nothing expensive. Okay, and that's what we're going to be working on with that. So that is going to be a pretty cool thing, because I know a lot of you guys want to get more power out of these bikes, more speed. You have to remember about a dirt bike. A dirt bike, if you're trying to make it like a motocross bike, which these are not motocross bikes, I have to keep saying that. But if you want to get more power, it's not so much about speed. They're not going fast. They're not going crazy fast doing the jumps and stuff like that. Okay, they are just humming along. They're making their turns. I mean, they're racing, so they're going as fast as they can. But those bikes are pushing 50, 60 horsepower. You know, our bikes are 11 and 12. You know, so I'm gonna show you guys how you can get more horsepower, more torque, and more speed out of your bikes. I know a lot of you guys are trying to get that. So over the summer, I'm going to set up a couple of different wheels for my bike with different gear ratios. Right now I'm on a 50 tooth. And so I like my 50 tooth because I could just take off. I can get right out there. And the top speed of the bike is about 50, 52 miles an hour, which is really cool. And because the speed limit is only 45. So, and you can't drive them on the highway, so I'm good with 50. Okay. With that said, I know a lot of you guys are trying to make like sport bikes out of them. Obviously, you guys want to go faster than that. But just keep in mind that they are 100 cc's. They're not motocross racing bikes. I see so many people trying to modify the bike to the point where they don't know what they're doing. And I say that because people disconnecting oilers, people putting pod air filters on. I saw one guy left the cover off, put a pod filter on, and he's got this big honking carburetor with this intake boot with a spacer in that to fit the KE. And he opens up, it's on YouTube, and you see that the throttle opens up a little bit, and it's you know, it's like, what are you doing, buddy? He'll never get full throttle out of that motor. Never, ever, ever. He'll open up that full throttle, and the thing will just puke on itself. That's why he doesn't go all the way up with it. It's basically going as fast as it can, and it's got a power jet on it. But if you don't open up that throttle high enough, you'll never get that power jet. So it's kind of obsolete. It's something that's just not going to work proper for him. And of course, he's got this air filter assembly right in front of his foot. And we're going to show you guys some stuff that you guys can do. Small modifications go a long way. Remember, if you want serious power out of your bike, you're really going to have to get a bigger bike. But if you're looking for a modification for your bike to give you a little bit more performance, that's what you're going to do. Performance and we call power upgrades are really two different things. Okay, when you think of building a motor, or you think of building a bike, and you're building it for power, okay, oftentimes you lose performance. So when I think of performance, I'm thinking of the handle of the bike, the ease of the operation of the bike, the switches and where they're located. Performance. Performance is literally how the bike performs. Power upgrades are totally different. That's how much power you can get out of this bike, how much it can climb, how fast it can go. You know, so they kind of go hand in hand, but they are two different things. Please keep that in mind when you're working on your bike. And just because someone does something to their bike, whether it be a Kawasaki KX100, that does not apply to our bikes. Okay? Our bikes are old rotary valve motors. They require the oil pump. I disconnected mine years ago. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, congratulations. You're going to kill that motor. Okay? I did a video and I showed how the damage happens on the rotary valve. So please watch that video and you'll understand. The video that I did on deleting the oil pump, I did it that way so you can rehook it back up because, as I said, it's going to kill your motor. But I've seen people cutting cables, cutting pumps, and then they say, Kevin, do you have all these parts? No, I don't. And like, oh, I don't know where I can get them. And you've got a bunch of these bikes. I do, but I'm not pulling parts off my bikes. So the best thing to do is fix the bike properly so you don't have to get to that point, you know. And you have an original bike, which is awesome. Yeah, you had mentioned that. And as I said, 120 pounds of compression is good. The bubble test, 6 pounds is a lot of pressure. So I wouldn't go up that high. You're really kind of forcing it. It's 6 bars you want, not 6 pounds. 6 bars. What do you call it there? Basically, at 6 pounds of pressure, you're putting a lot of immense force on that motor. I bet you if you dropped it down to maybe 2, 3 bars, which is adequate enough, you'll have no bubbles. You want to make sure that when you clean up the cylinder head and you put the fill gauge, if you have no on a straight edge, as I showed you, like I did on Aaron's bike, that's how you want to be doing that. Okay. Your head gasket, if your head gasket is distorted, or sometimes they come in and they're kind of warped or something like that, what you're going to have to do is when you tighten down the head, torque it down, start the engine, get the engine up to temperature, then retorque it, and then that's what I would do. But if you're getting bubbles at 6 pounds of pressure, I would think you would at that, because you just at that point you're just putting so much immense pressure on it. You just force an air out any possible way it can come out, and that whatever's going to give is going to give. You could actually blow your head gasket doing that. So you want to go by bars, not pounds. And the bubbles around around the cylinder head. Make sure you torque your cylinder head to 20 foot-pounds, not the 16 in the book. The book just says 16. When you do it to 16, they come loose. I don't know why they even suggested that. But if you look up the diameter of the bolt, the type of bolt it is, the chart says 20 to 21 pounds. I happy medium and went straight for the 20, and it's been working great. Knock on work. It's been perfect. Yeah, yeah. You want to go 6 bars, not 6 pounds. What do you call it there? Sometimes I mess up when I say that. Vacuum test. Basically, how you did the pressure test, you could do a vacuum test. Pull about 2 to 3 bars on the pressure test and see if it holds, and then you'll know. Yeah, it's a possibility I might have slipped and said 6 pounds. I have slipped before. You have to understand, I'm not one of those. As I tell people, Corey, I am not into the whole video thing. This is kind of a little bit out of my my realm. I'm still getting familiar with it. Even though we're coming up on 750 videos, you'd think I'd nail it down by now, but I don't. We started doing this channel May 4th, 2016, and I literally never in my wildest dreams would ever imagine this channel growing to the point that it's grown. And I have literally no experience doing videos. The fact that I'm even able to do this is mind blowing to me. I'm technical with my hands, but I am not savvy. I thank you. I appreciate your support on that. But honestly, I'd rather have you standing right next to me so I can show you. But we're reaching people all over the world. I get people from Pakistan, love from Pakistan. I'm like, love you too. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I appreciate all your support. But every now and then I do mess up, and I'm human. But if I said 6 pounds, it meant 6 bars. At 6 pounds of pressure, you will literally blow air out. You have no choice. But you want 6 psi. I just did it again. 6 bars. I should do redo that video again. fact, well, we're going to be doing that anyway. We're going to be we're working on a motor that the bolts just came in for, a KE100 motor. We're going to be doing live chats. We're going to be doing that, and I'm going to try to get that not next weekend, but the weekend after, because I want my son to help me with that. He's pretty savvy when it comes to that type of thing, and he's the one who started this whole channel. So next time he comes up, I'm going to see if he can help me figure that out. And I have my other son, who's also super tech savvy, who's helping me figure out what kind of equipment I need. So I got two of my sons helping me out with this. So I'm going to try to do the whatchamacallit there, the live chat, but doing a video. What's up, buddy?
Should I stay up early?
Stay up late, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead, go. Get out of here, bug. You're bothering me.
Hello again.
Yeah, I want to be doing that. I want to get. I want to take the channel to a new level. I want to make it so you guys have more. I don't want to overwhelm with the information, but I also want to. I want to bring you guys up. Nurture it right into it. So I'm going to be doing. What do you call it? I haven't done the bike lessons. I should be doing. I want to do lessons. I want to teach you guys. And so what I've been doing is I've been kind of implementing questions like I did on Matt's bike to see where you guys are at. And when you watch that video, I'm asking you guys what you see and comment down below. And I really want you guys to look at the bike and really start to see all the imperfections as I've been picking them out. So that's why I started doing on the video with Robert's bike. I've been picking his bike apart, and it really sounds like I'm degrading it. And I am degraded because I want to build the bike up. So that's how we're doing that. And it seems to be okay. It seems to be working out pretty well. I just want you guys to open your eyes and see what I see. When you guys start seeing what I'm seeing, and I can train you guys on the mechanics of it, then you guys will start to think like I do. And then you'll be like, oh, I see what he's doing. Yeah, I get the mechanical part. And that's when your mechanical mental state will kick in and go, I see a problem. I see a problem right there. I see a problem right there. Oh my God, I gotta go get a piece of paper, write all this down. I got a list. I got a laundry list on my own bike. And it literally is because people don't know what they're looking at. This channel is going to train you to know what you're looking at. So if you went down the street and you saw a bike on Marketplace, you can literally pick that bike apart and say, hey, listen, buddy, this bike needs a lot of work. This is all the stuff that it needs. Some is going to be little, some is going to be major. Or you might say, you know what, there's too much into this bike. I'm going to pass on it now that I know, as opposed to spending stupid money on a bike. Like that bike I picked up was not worth $500. There was no way in shape or form it was worth $500. The tank was rotted out. It's missing the oil reservoir. It has no compression. The magneto, someone stuck a screwdriver in it. You'll see all that when I tear it down. But I didn't care about that. I cared about the front end pieces and the front wheel and all that other stuff. I had a junk bike. I could do that. And now I have the parts that I need for my DS. But if I was looking for a DS to build and fix, and the guy's like, no, I want $500 for this thing. Like, buddy, that thing is not worth. Oh yeah, no, look at the side cover over here. It's got the cylinder head on. It's got the no. I mean, it didn't have the headlight. The seat was decent, but not great. It was missing tail light. The thing wasn't all bolted down. There was so much wrong with that bike. It wasn't even funny. So I was able to do that. Why does my flag go? Yeah, text me a picture on that. Yeah, some of them had, if you look on the condenser, there was a little line on the condenser. One of them was for running. There is sometimes on bikes, there's two timing marks. One on the top, which you can line up, and then the one down bottom, when that top one was, what will happen is when you start the bike and using a timing light, you'll see the condenser in the window. Oh, okay, on top, both on top. One of those is for your points, where you line it up to set your points, and the other one is where it fires. So let me explain to you that. So what happens is when you set your points, you don't set them to the same one you check your timing on, because there's what they call advance. Okay, so you set it to one that says T for timing. The one that says F is for fire. Okay, that one is every time the thing comes around, that's where the spark plug is supposed to fire. So what you would do is you would take a highlighter and you would highlight that one on the F, and then excuse me, if you use your if you use the video that I did on the KV75 CDI, you'll see where I used the timing light to see where it was firing. That's exactly what that is. That strobe is going to fire every time that on there. You'll be able to see it lining up. So when I built that CDI unit, you'll see I had an old backing plate, and I drilled a bunch of holes in it to kind of time it in to get where it would fire on the firing pin, and not firing pin, but on the firing mark. And every time it came around to fire, that's when I knew I had it nailed down. And that's the holes that I went with, and then I transferred those over to a good plate. So that's what that's all about. So you have your one that says T, that's for your timing. So when you set setting the points, that's the one, the mark you would use. And then with a timing light with the engine running, you flash that right on that line, and then they should line up. Even though the engine's running, with a timing light, it's a strobe light. It'll stay right there. You'll look at it and go, oh wow, it don't even look like it's moving. That's because of the strobe light. It's pretty neat. Some good technology there. And like I said, I showed that in my KV75 video when I built that CDI ignition. That's the only what do you call it there? The only bike with CDI ignition. It's pretty neat. And there's a company that I'm working with. I got to send a picture of that magneto plate, and they're going to try to duplicate it. So pretty neat. So, a lot of information there, guys. A lot of information. You're going to learn some serious tuning stuff, and that's why I want to show you all this little intricate stuff. But I want to do it slowly. I don't want you guys to be overwhelmed with it, and I'm just going to keep asking you guys questions and seeing what you guys, it's a learning channel, and that's what we're doing. We're gonna make you guys into mechanics, and then when you go to look at bikes, you're gonna be like, oh wow, I see a problem there. Or I see this and I see that, and you don't get screwed out of a bike either, Point setting. There should be a letter near it. Can't really see it on your video on your thing there. It might be on the front side of your. Let's see it. Well, typically, the first one that comes around is your points, and then the second one is your firing. So that's what I would do. I'd try it that way. I'd set it to the first one, and then see if it goes. So you go in the rotation that it spins in, and then the first one coming up, you set your timing, and then the second one will be the firing. So that's how I would do that. Typically, it's how they go. On the KEs and stuff like that, they don't use that type of setup. It is a good setup to have, but they don't use it. Excuse me, I'm tired. Move some blocks, and man, big heavy cement blocks. So yeah, first one is the point. Second one is the firing, and then you'll be able to when you use a timing light, you'll see it. But I'll show you guys how I do all that. I'm gonna be doing videos on that. Let's see. What are we going to do? So tomorrow night we're going to be working on Dave's bike, putting that case together, and then we're going to start working on Robert's bike. We're going to try to get the rear wheel off, get that fixed, and we're going to kind of start from the back on his bike and work forward, and then we might jump to the middle because we got to do the carburetor. Bye. Very tired. it'll be really super cool to have that, to get that bike up and running. Robert will be wicked happy when we see where that bike's going to be. And always block off your intakes. I don't know if you guys saw the Robert video, but I use a socket with a plug in it. Yeah. Jesus, sorry. It'd be more of an insurance policy on it. One more question. Can someone go ahead? Go on. You can put them on incorrectly. They will go on the studs, but you'll have a hard time pushing it down. I would definitely make sure you know which way it goes on, but I can make it real simple and short and sweet for you. These holes right here on the back, those go to the back of the engine, because on the back of the engine you have vertical coolant fins, and those holes right there are so when the air comes through, they go down into the holes. There's actually a dam right here. You can see these dams. Okay, those right there deflect the cool air down. So that's how that works. The air flows through the coolant fins, through the front. See how the front has holes right there, and then it goes to the back of the cylinder head, hits these dams, and channels the air through the back of the engine, and that goes down. Same thing with the high compression. It's opened in the front, and then in the back it's closed. And you can see the air dam right here. Literally, that stops the air from going out the back of the head and channels it down through these holes. That's how you know if you got those heads on there correctly or not. Okay, cool. Were you able to see what I was talking about? The internet's kind of slow here. Yeah, because there's an air dam. The air flows through, hits the dam, and goes down back. So make sure that I'll just show you that one more time. So the front of on all of them, on all the bikes, the front of the head is opened up like this, and then the back is closed like this. That's the air dam. And then what it does is when the air comes through here, it slams into there. It's still frozen. Huh. Yeah. How about now? Can you see me now? Because it looks like it's all fine now. Weird. Corey, is it good now? Oh, I'm sorry, bud. I'm gonna end the live stream. What the heck's going on?